This channel is for educational purposes only. Please do your own due diligence before making any investment decisions.
This is Joe Rabil. So I want to follow up on the MACD video I did last week and use it in the same way, but I'm going to use the moving averages instead of the MACD. So what we're trying to do is identify conditions that can act as a signal for us to act on the lower time frame. Okay, so what we're trying to do is just create bullish conditions or bearish conditions and then play in the direction of those conditions themselves. All right, I really like using the moving averages for this. I'm going to show you how you can define it and how then you can go down to the smaller time frame to identify signals. Now, if you want to learn more about these techniques, I would suggest starting with my book. It's in you can click the link in the description to find out more. And also, if you do enjoy this content, please hit that like button and also subscribe. Okay, we're going to start with the chart of Walmart. And I've got it in 4 time frames: monthly in the bottom left, weekly in the bottom right, a daily in the upper right, and an hourly in the upper left. All right. As I've said in the past, we really want to get used to looking at these patterns in these 4 time frames. Okay, we want to be able to see these 4 time frames and how they work together. So I'm going to focus in on the weekly here and the daily right now. All right. Now, what I think is the most important to understand is when we have a bull trend in any specific time frame, the 18 will be above the 40 and both lines will be rising. All right. So if I look at what took place here, we had an 18 that had kind of rolled over and it was flat, and then it started to turn up and the 40 was rising underneath. All right. So I would say right about this point, they reached a level where they were both rising and the 18 was above the 40 and price was at least above the 40. In other words, as long as price is above one of the 2 moving averages and the 18 is above the 40 and they're both rising, then you have what I would call trend. You have a trend in place. All right. Now, I use that as a condition. I don't use it as a buy signal. I'm not going to buy way up here because the condition kicks in. Now, you could do that, use a wide stop. You probably end up making decent money if you played things that way. But what I want to explain is that what I would consider is that once that condition is in place and stays in place, we want to use that as a higher time frame condition. All right, and then we take it down to the smaller time frame and look for nothing but. So when the pattern is like this and the trend is up, I'm only going to take long trades on this daily time frame. Okay, so just think about it in those terms. And I'm going to go back through this period here. You can see we had 1 opposing trend trigger. We had 2 opposing trend trigger. Not a great trigger because it gapped up, and then a nice opposing trend trigger here. So essentially 3 developed throughout this period. That doesn't mean you're going to catch every one, but if you can catch 2 of 3 of stocks you're following, that's gonna work pretty well because there's gonna be a lot of stocks that are gonna meet this criteria. And I'm not showing the MACD and the ADX, but those are going to be, especially the ADX. The ADX will shrink the universe down. So I got this question. Well, it was more of a comment in one of my videos recently, asking why I would use the MACD and the ADX together. They're basically giving the same feedback. They're not giving me the same feedback. Number one, the moving averages are using the close when how they're calculated. They don't care about the high-low range. All right, and the ADX is using the high-low range. It doesn't care about the close. So that alone is giving me different feedback, but I use them for different things. I'm using the ADX to shrink the universe down, and then I do help it with, ADX does help with some timing tools, but for the most part, I'm using the MACD to help with those triggers and signals to help with the timing. All right, so I just wanted to mention that. Now, so this is one example where we get 3 different triggers that can take place while we have the condition in place on the higher time frame. Now, let's look at something like IBM, a little bit trickier. It turned up here all right? And then we had a nice pullback, and then we had a deep pullback all the way to the 40, and then we had a deep pullback that actually overran. So through this period here, while the bars are below the 40, we're not in a trend, but then it comes back up. As soon as it comes back up, then we still have the rising moving averages. So the trend was so strong that it could actually withstand a move below the 40. So through this period, yeah, we're not looking for buy signals necessarily until it gets back above, and then we probably take a look. But by that time, the trigger would probably already be done. So this to me is one that you wouldn't be able to take advantage of. You probably could take advantage of this one, and then you had a couple others here that that developed. So these type of pullbacks, sometimes they're quick, sometimes they gap, sometimes you don't get every you can't expect to get every single trigger. This was a good trigger. Another one here with the pinch that followed after the that's a trigger 3. It looks like it pushed right through and then pulled back. So just realize sometimes these play out in ways that you may not be ready for, but just use the upper time frame. And I don't want to show every time the perfect setup, right? Okay, these are the perfect ones. I'm just showing you different examples that play out and how you're going to have to adapt a little bit. Let me look at one more example. This one's a good example because in the gold stocks, we got a really strong trend, 18 above the 40, both lines rising, and we didn't get any really crazy move to the upside until recently. So my point is that you almost want to do this. You almost want to draw a trend line on the upper part of the upper part of the move, and make sure that price isn't going nuts to the upside and getting any kind of a surging move away from the moving average like it did here. As long as it doesn't do that, then you can continue to play each pullback and use the opposing trend pattern. This is when the 18 crosses down below the 40 on the lower time frame. We get these signals left and right, all right, and you can take advantage of those when everything seems to be in order. All right. So continue to find stocks that play in these type of patterns and that have the trend on the upper time frame, and then on the lower time frame you're looking for again, typically I'm looking for an opposing trend trigger. Now you can be using the RSI for this as well on the lower time frame to look for triggers. You could use a one time frame approach and say, okay, if I have a trend on this time frame, I'm looking for every time the RSI comes down and gives an RSI buy signal, and then you don't have to go down to the smaller time frame. Where I find that to be coming in handy is for people who don't want to go down to intraday time frames. They want to look at the monthly, weekly, and the daily, and they'll use the daily RSI triggers instead of going down and looking for an opposing trend trigger on the hourly. Nothing wrong with that. Now, the other thing I want to point out is that if you look at this, we have a trend on this time frame, all right, but we want to recognize when there's separation between price and the moving average and it's 40. So if the 18 starts moving up at a faster rate and separating away from the 40, so the distance here is much smaller than it was here, right? If you look at this, they pretty much stayed pretty close together for a pretty significant period, and then right near the end here it's starting to get away, it's starting to stretch away. So you do want to recognize that as long as they're relatively close and staying close together, you can continue to play each pullback. Now that doesn't mean this setup isn't going to work, but it could turn into a more complex pattern where just a simple pullback is not going to give you a trigger. So look for these in all time frames. You're going to find periods where in any time frame the 18 is below the 40, both lines are declining, or 18 is above the 40 and both lines are rising. Now they might not last very long in an intraday time frame, but it's still going to provide you the condition that you want on the higher time frame, and then you go down to the smaller time frame to look for an entry signal, right? Now this was a pretty significant time frame on the hourly where the 18 was above the 40 and both lines are rising. This separated a little bit here, but that's a pretty long period where you could go down to the 10-minute and be looking for buy signals. All right. Now the crazy thing is that I actually do this on a 5-minute chart, I'm just give you a quick look of how this plays out. We get a strong move on the open. Sometimes it comes to the downside. This was actually at 2:30. This was probably a Fed meeting or something like that, and then it V'd here, and then it made a really nice play. 18's above the 40, both lines are rising, a nice little reversal right there. So if you go down to your 1-minute chart, you can get an entry. And then here's another example of 18 above the 40. Yeah, it was separating a little bit, but we got a nice pullback, and you could play it for a trade. Now, where the 18 starts to flatten out like this, you see how they're rising. Now this one's starting to lose its slope. I don't really like to play this pattern here, even though it did make a little bit of a bump move and tested the high. It actually went to a minor new high. I'm probably not taking this because of the slope. I get so many questions. Why do you use an 18 instead of the 20? Well, the reason I'm using an 18 is because I want to see when the slope starts to shift, I want to see it on that 18. I want it to happen. It's going to happen faster than it will on the 20. I've tested it. All right. So we want to be aware when this starts to slope starts to shift, that we don't really want to play this pullback anymore. All right. So keep these things in mind as you're playing. It's any 2 time frames. I showed you on a 5-minute, showed you on a monthly. All right. You can do these patterns in any 2 time frames that you'd like. Let me know if you have any questions. Thanks.